Hello and thank you for joining me. It's Thursday the 26th of September. Now I did say on Tuesday when I started back doing the daily readings after my holiday that I was going to do daily readings, and then I promptly didn't do one for yesterday, so I'm so sorry for that. I usually record them the day before, and on the Tuesday my son had had his driving test. And I've actually been the person that's taught him to drive these last 6 months. So I was there as well, drove him up there. Oh, he drove himself up there, and then I stood nervously waiting for him. And I was very pleased to say that he passed. So it was a very nervous morning, and then very, very happy boy driving home, texting all his friends and family saying that he passed. But then we came home to reinsure him from a provisional to a full driving licence driver, and no one would insure him because of his age, because of his job, and it was just horrific. It was just the most stressful. Like, one person quoted me £11,000 to quote for a year's insurance. I thought it would be sick. Anyway, so it was all a bit stressful. I did manage to find an amazing company that insure students. So if you're listening to this story and this is ringing a bit of a bell for you, do message me and I'll let you know the details. But yeah, so we did manage eventually to get him insured, and that was at 5 o'clock. And the test was at 9 o'clock. So I can imagine what that day must have been like for us. It was a whirlwind of emotions. So as soon as we got insured, he jumped in his car, went to see his friends, and I literally collapsed in a heap. But I was exhausted, I was emotional, I was drained. So I was quite tearful, and yeah, just couldn't really face doing this for you. And then I found a nice big bottle of Prosecco in the cupboard, and my friend helped me drink it. So you certainly didn't want to hear me talking up to that. So I've had a quiet day today. I've had no clients. I knew I had no clients. Thankfully, the universe blocked out today for me to just rest. And I'm going off to get a neck and shoulder massage later, because wow, that was a really stressful day. I'm glad I'd never have to do that ever again. Okay, anyway, that was my little story. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel my pain. Yeah, so that's 6 months of my life. Tick, done that. Right, so Thursday the 26th of September. Let's see what cards come out for us today. Oh, how funny. How funny. We've got Temperance and Death. So a massively new start for everybody, and obviously we've talked a lot about transformation at this time. And funny, I've had some really lovely people that I've met on video calls recently this week, just throughout the sort of portal, this eclipse portal we're going through, and there seems to be a lot of that energy of being exhausted, being like, oh, I'm done, I can't go anymore. And I feel like these two coming out together are showing us that, you know, transformation doesn't always happen in one day. Sometimes it takes a period of time that you're going through stuff and it just feels so strange, and you feel like you're not yourself, and there's just so much going on. And the Temperance there is just reminding us about the need to really look after ourselves and keep calm when everything around us is changing. And it's funny, just going back to that story, obviously off he went in his car, and then I was like, oh no, I'm going to be one of those mums now that shouts, be careful, every time you leave the house. That's my new role. That's who I've suddenly transformed into. But let's have a look at these two cards. What I'm really drawn to looking at here, and we always talk about these in transformation times, are these butterflies. You can see here, they're very, very pale, aren't they, as they're leaving that lady. And as they're coming back in here, it's almost like they're the same same ones. They've got a little bit more colour in them. They've got a little bit more life in them, and they seem to be sort of spreading their wings and going a little bit further as well. I really do feel that this is a calling to all of us to be aware that there are so many different things happening in our worlds. And if you are feeling like just completely confused as to what happens next, and because you don't know, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. That is what this is all about. And I feel like I want to say, we've got what we're on next week, near towards the weekend. We've got the new moon, the solar eclipse energy. So I do feel there's going to be a little bit of a shift by then. But for this next week, just go with it. This lady's laying there, obviously with the death card, we're assuming that she's dead, but she's not, because she's being moved. She's being moved to another place. So you can see, or you may not be able to see, but there's some Latin words here in this card. I'm not going to say the Latin, but I read quite a lot of Latin when I was in Rome. It's everywhere. But it means life is changed, not taken away. And you can see the whiteness coming into this. Now, we're assuming that's the spirit going away, but actually maybe it isn't. Maybe it's energy coming in and changing this lady into something else. And I love the synchronicity of the fact that we've got 13 and 14. Those, when two major arcana cards come out, and they've shuffled and shuffled the cards, and they come out together in their pattern that they should be, that really does tell me that the universe is just very gently moving us from one to the other. It might not feel very gentle at the moment, and you know, I certainly feel like I've been through it, so I'm sure there's a reason why I've told you that story, because I'm sure a lot of you are probably going through lots and lots of stuff as well. But we do need to really make sure that we look after ourselves, and I feel that temperance is coming in and just saying, don't do things in excess. A bit late now after drunk all that Prosecco. But, you know, don't self-sabotage. Make sure you're eating properly. Make sure you're sleeping properly. You know, make sure that self-care is important, because you can't force these things. It is going to be taking a bit of a time. We're in that chrysalis stage at the moment where it's all a bit gooey and mucky and horrible. And we haven't quite seen what our wings are going to look like just yet, you know. So yeah, but we can see there is a change. There is a change approaching us. So just stick with it, and it'll all work out and make sense in the fullness of time. So why don't you come back tomorrow? I promise I will be here. And I'll give you another message. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.